Oh my gosh, you guys, I am having a bitch of a time trying to create this video about Saturn. It has taken me days and days. I have way too much information. It's a jumbled mess. I'm trying hard. But basically, we all know Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun, and we all know it's the second largest in the solar system, but we don't know so much about it, and that is what I want to convey to you. And just hold on tight. Let's try to make it through this together, shall we? The symbolism behind Saturn is something to be astonished by, folks. It is insane. It's named after the Roman god of agriculture, and its astronomical symbol is an H with a plus sign through it, also representative of the sickle, or God's sickle. But when you think about just that, isn't that a little weird to you? This is the stuff that's catching me a little off guard. If the symbol is God's sickle, and God that we know would never carry a sickle, as a sickle is representation of death or something like a grim reaper, correct? So it made me think, and then I wanted to do some research. So then I found David Icke, this incredibly intelligent man who's villainized all over the internet. So come to a relationship you want to garner with him yourself. However, I'm choosing to think that he's pretty accurate because he has a pretty ballsy approach to this information. And whenever you find people like that who you know are being villainized and still have the guts to just give this information out because it's the truth, I tend to feel like those people are accurate and they're truth seekers, and I align myself with people like that. But please don't take my word for it. Check him out yourself. However, the things he's informed me about this planet and how it's being utilized or hacked is really interesting, and it's blowing my mind. Like, a lot of the things he's saying is basically all these astro bodies, all these things we grew up hearing about, especially the seven majors, right? Like, and we're on Earth, so that's one. But you have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and then you have Earth, and then they want you to think you have the Moon, but that's a whole nother video I'm going to get into another time, so we're going to skip right past the Moon and go to Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So in my mind, we have 3 to the left and 3 to the right, and then Earth is dead center. Now, another thing you might have to just ease into with me is the fact that David Icke, along with Santos Bernarucci Taduch, I can never remember that man's last name, although I do think he's just as brilliant. But these men, along with others, I'm finding, are making me privy to the information that's been kept from me, that even though I'm not ready to grasp the fact that flat earth theory is becoming more and more accepted, I'm also not willing to just hold on to the globe theory or the sphere theory just because it's what I was told to believe. So I want to approach anything that comes to astrology or astrotheology or any of it, I want to approach it with a completely open mind. So take that into consideration when you're hearing this stuff come out of my mouth. None of this is stuff I'm saying just believe. This is all stuff I'm telling you to question. Now let me adjust my camera as I'm seeing my yoga body isn't represented. Thank you much. Tip it. Tip it. Saturn would appreciate this. Okay, I'm kidding. Anyway, back to subject. David Icke talks a lot about how planet or planets are planes, and whether you want to choose to believe it's flat Earth exactly is up to you. I'm not here to fight you on that quite yet. But he does talk about how it could be a hologrammed picture or dome-like experience. You know, in the movie Hunger Games, the second or third one, when they go back in and there's the dome, right? And Katniss shoots it with the bow, and then everybody finds out, holy shit, we're just in this dome. Like, this has all been fictional. Well, that's what I'm thinking of while David Icke describes this. However, he is really describing a mindfuck of an experience. I don't know if many of you know the Plato cave theology, but it's basically, let's say you're a prisoner and you're tied up and you're put in a cave and you're seeing this shadow projection onto the wall in front of you. So somebody doing shadow puppets with light above you but out of your sight, so all you're seeing are the shadows. You would start to think that's real life. That is your reality. However, reality is showing you in the cave theology that somebody is entertaining your psyche, keeping you from reality. So if that would be true, then I think what David Icke is describing is that your consciousness, your subconscious mind, is channeling everything through these sensory deceptors, basically. Like, you're experiencing all of consciousness funneled through one being, one robot suit that we're all wearing. It's a machine. I mean, everything in our body is just like the computer you're probably watching this on, even an iPhone, for God's sakes. All of the same things are happening. It's just electricity shooting through and making things happen, and it all breaks down to a smaller, minute atom level. Like, it's insane. It's sick how closely related. And could humans just be a type of computer chip? I mean, he describes some really interesting shit that breaks that down a lot more in depth than I can right now, because I'm not even able to grasp everything he's talking about. But the stuff he's talking about with the planes, and how all of it is just energy and all of its frequency, and that relates to string theory, and it brings all of this stuff together. He also points out the storm that's happening on the North Pole of Saturn, and how, ironically enough, it's a hexagonal formed storm. So hexagon is the six-sided shape. It's a stop sign, authority. He talks about that, how we're living in an authoritarian world because we're channeling the energy from Saturn. It's an authoritarian energy right now. The six-sided hexagon is the shape of authority, and it's also a flattened out cube, which makes me relate all of the cube, the 3D dimension, which is what we're in right now. Earth is 3D. However, the moment of now we're living in isn't, and I want to talk about that in a later video as well. And it's just relating all this stuff, and then he talks about how the cube, 3D, is a representation of a prison within a prison. All of this stuff is just telling me that our consciousness is within the prison of our body, but then our bodies are within the prison of our exterior hologram virtual reality that we're living in. And I do believe that's the basic message he's trying to convey, is know that yourself, you are all of consciousness. Everything that ever has been and ever could be exists within you. Nobody can tell you otherwise, and you can't know otherwise to be true. That's the beauty of all of this. It's a mind fuck, because none of us can truly know what's right and what isn't, because we need to experience it. And that's what makes me believe that this is right, because as I experience it, something inside of me keeps pushing to know more. I literally went from spending my free time getting drinks with friends and socializing and having this amazing life to feeling like a complete recluse within 2 to 3 years. I completely 180'd my personality, not saying it's bad and not to shit on it. I have grown and learned who I am myself exponentially. I would not trade any of this time in. It's just really weird because as I'm striving to learn more and more about why am I here and what is my message and what am I doing, like what the fuck, I'm sitting here walking aimlessly through life, constantly angry and learning that I'm under a control system by an elite group of people who I despise. And how dare I be complacent going through life, working a 9 to 5, being a wage labor slave for some person and some group of people I'll never even get to meet, because they're living off of my hard work, my mom's hard work, my best friend's hard work. This isn't fair. That's where I feel trapped. And ironically enough, I feel like I'm in a prison within a prison, a cube, if you will. And as I learn more and more about how the third dimension relates to the third chakra, and how the third chakra is your stomach, your solar plex chakra, and how that's driven by the ego. It's the birth of narcissism and ego-driven response to reality. And it's what we're in. We judge ourselves based on judgments by others. And it's prison within a prison. Everything is connected. And as David Icke tells me, that frequencies are being sent from Saturn like pulses. It makes sense to me. Why wouldn't they be? And as you look on YouTube or Google, you can type in Jupiter's sound waves or frequencies. You can type in Saturn's frequencies or sound waves. And every plane or planet has a unique, distinct sound. Everything is sending out frequency. And David Icke was blowing my mind as he talks about this frequency that's coming, that's nestled in the North Pole, that storm. As it projects out, it sends out rings of vibrational frequency. And there's ones that we hear and there's ones that we see, and the ones that we see just so happen to be rings forming around the planet. This planet is active as fuck, which when you learn what Saturn and their energy, or the hacked energy, and I keep saying hacked because every plane has the ability to be good or evil. Right now, David Icke's theory is that our consciousness has been hacked, but I want to go a step further and say I think Saturn's consciousness has been hacked, because I do believe Saturn can be a tool for good. However, I think right now it's being used in a negative form. Why do I say this? Because the controls of what Saturn has. Saturn is in control of things like capitalism, banking, chaos, corruption, all of this stuff. Like the way that our banking system and the elite monetize the world right now, that is Saturnic energy. And, you know, David Icke goes in to describe this a really, really cool way. Look up one of his videos. I'll try to attach it below. It's really cool to figure out that frequencies are being sent from everywhere. And that's all that reality is. Vibrations, frequencies. It's stuff that your senses can pick up, because right now in these bodies, in these meat robots we're walking around in, we're thinking that reality is based on sensory overloads, pleasures. Like everything you touch is just vibrational energy that hits your skin. Everything that you taste, vibrational energy that hits your mouth. Same with your eyes. That's a vibrational energy that you can see. That's the scale of light that we're able to see. But we know that light expands far beyond. We have X-ray, and we have gamma ray and radio waves. None of these we can see, but we can hear, or we can feel, or we know they're present. Something is letting us know that. Something is happening with our consciousness that's able to pick that up, but it's far more vast than we know. So if you think about it, what if visually, like when you drop a drop of water into a glass or a bowl of water and you see those ripples going out, that's waves. The same thing's happening from the plane or planet Saturn. Waves are being sent from the planet itself, and the ones we can see are creating rings around the planet. The ones that we can't see that expand ever more vastly could be the ones that are coming towards our planet and channeling that energy down to us. And then he has this insane theory about how the moon is just used as a satellite to direct it, to make it more concentrated, and all this stuff. I mean, you can completely dismiss it if you want. I totally get why you would. It sounds cuckoo bananas. I'm totally with you. However, I wouldn't, because I didn't. And the more you look into it, the more connections you start to make, like the music industry, the movie industry. I mean, my God, just the symbolism in politics and money and religion, it's all connected, and it's all Satanism. I mean, honestly, weird things like kaput. The word kaput, that means dead or done forever. Kaput came from Capitoline Hill, or Mons Saturnus, which is Mount Saturn, where some elite men went and found a skull and crossbones. That's where that occultic tradition, I believe that's at Yale, Skull and Bones. That's where that came from. It's a Roman occultic group. I mean, this stems way, way back, and it's a way of controlling that power. They're harnessing the energy from Saturn, and it's a Luciferian energy right now. It's being controlled. It's in that cube-like state, prison within a prison. And there's some really interesting tie-ins it has with religion. Like in Islam, they use the Kaaba, which is a black cube that you walk around, and weirdly enough, they tell you can only walk around it in concentric circles, and as you pray to it, you shift along with it, and it's that energy, it's harnessing that energy. Everybody in practicing Islam that's doing that is channeling the energy from Saturn, or satanic energy. And it might be hard for you to hear this, especially if it's the religion pertaining to you, and let me tell you, it pertains to all religions. Catholicism is not left out, either is Christianity. I mean, Judaism has it with the tefillin, or whatever that thing's called, that you wrap around your arm. That's that black cube, and they pray to that and they worship that, and that's the same thing. It's channeling that energy. The black cube is a representation of Saturnic energy. It's along with the sickle that I was telling you about before. Father Time and the Grim Reaper are the same thing. The white bearded man, Time. That makes sense in my head. The fact that we're channeling somebody that is the controller of time. That's why we're captured in this prison within a prison, because we don't remember or realize that we are vast consciousness and time does not bind us. However, when we're raised to believe that in these bodies time is restrictive, then yes, it does. It's a cube within a cube. It's a prison within a prison. This stuff, it's just like you have to start letting it relate to you in that sense. The number 8 or the animal, the spider, like all of these things are symbolisms of Saturn and Saturnic energy. And again, I'm not saying Saturn's bad or be afraid or weary of Saturn. I think Saturn's fucking cool. And I think it's a really cool planet. And I think there's a way for us to stop channeling the negative energy and to let Saturn be at peace. I know I'm sounding like a hippie dip phenom, but I'm telling you, this energy thing, this vibrational thing, this frequency thing, it's real. And just because you choose not to believe it doesn't mean I am going to stop. I think this is fascinating. And I hope on this channel of, YouTube that I'm creating, I hope that it's drawing in people that are just as eccentric as me and want to know about this stuff, because I'm telling you, I didn't think that at my age the idea or the topic of Saturn would enthrall me for days. It's been a week that I've just been enthralled with learning about it, and I think that's fascinating. To be, growing up in a time where it's all chaos and it's all war and it's all fear, but to get happy or ecstatic to learn about something that could in turn help me control it, at least on the inside, because what I'm really learning is, as much as we want to learn about how we're being interfered with by external bodies, whether it's people or planets or energies, whatever it may be, I'm learning that we have so much control over our insides when we calm our mind. And the only way you can do that is change your fucking eating habits and change how you breathe. So those are the two things you have control over. And people laugh this off every day. I get it. It makes you want to click a different video. It makes you angry when somebody challenges what you eat or your belief system or, something so basic as breathing. But for real, this is important stuff. It's reality. It is how you're being controlled. Look into a diet that would really help cleanse your body and give your mind a chance to catch up, because you're in warfare right now. This is World War III that we're living in. This is hell on earth. I really truly believe that we're living in a time where everything you see as reality is just a manifestation, and it's your ego in the driver's seat. Your ego is in the driver's seat, manifesting this nasty energy because we've been raised in a world to believe it's all that's true. But really try to dig for something deeper, because it's not. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not even trying to pretend I'm giving you everything you need to know or putting you in the right direction. I just needed to get this video made. This video is killing me. It's taken forever. I have so many notes. I didn't get through a third of them. It's insanity. And I don't even know how this video is going to come off. I don't even know if I'm going to like it, because a part of me just wanted to do a video with my audio showing you slides and pictures, but that takes forever, so I need to figure my shit out. Anyway, I wanted to bring this stuff up to you. Let me know what you think, maybe something you've learned. I promise you I do have more information that I can expand this video on. Maybe I'll do a really long video soon when I can get my thoughts together, and I'll kind of clear up my notes so it doesn't look like chicken scratch. If you're with me on this is some crazy shit. But anyway, I want to end it here. Leave any comments below, even if you're like, what the mind fuck is this? This is bullshit. Totally, I hear you, I understand it. This doesn't make sense to you when you first hear it. I get it. I totally get it. But all it is to show you that everything from religion and politics to diet, to movies, to music, entertainment in general, schooling, everything we're doing right now is Saturn-based energy. And when you take it back, old school style, like we're talking way, okay? When you go way back then, Saturn was the demonic planet. It was the bad energy planet. It was the Dark Lord. When you find out movies like Lord of the Rings are based on Saturn, come on, people. So it's like knowing that, but also deciding with your perception or your perspective on reality to say, I don't want to choose to believe that, a planet can be negative. That's cool. I think that's the thought you're supposed to have. I think you're supposed to understand everything has a yin and a yang. Everything can be good or evil. It's what we do with that energy or how we perceive that energy. And I don't even know if this is making sense at this point, so I gotta cut it out. But anyway, take care of yourself the rest of the day. I hope you enjoyed some part of this video. I hope it sparked some curiosity or at least got you to comment. And trust, I'll be looking more into this, and I'll probably have more videos on planes. I mean, just that theory alone. We're on a plane right now. It could be a... Girl, okay, I need to breathe and reboot. Anyway, take care of yourself the rest of the day. Peace out.